morning, this is Francesca Evans from LymeOnline with all of this week's top stories from the local area. Lyme Regis shops, restaurants and pubs have reopened for the run-up to Christmas following the end of the second national lockdown. But Lyme Regis still faces some tough restrictions, with the whole of Dorset having been placed in Tier 2 along with the majority of the country, including the likes of major cities such as London and Liverpool. The measures came into force on Wednesday, having been passed in the House of Commons the previous evening, with 291 votes to 78. But 55 Tory MPs voted against the government plan, the largest rebellion of Boris Johnson's premiership. Among those to go against party line was West Dorset MP Chris Loader, who said it was not right that West Dorset towns such as Lyme Regis be grouped in the same tier as more urban areas of the county, such as Bournemouth, despite having much lower figures on COVID-19 cases. Mr Loader made the decision after being contacted by a number of constituents and local businesses expressing concerns over the Tier 2 restrictions, including the Volunteer Inn in Lyme Regis, which described the measures as a continued assault on the hospitality industry. The Woodruff School and St Michael's Primary School in Lyme Regis both reported their first cases of COVID-19 this week. 2 students from the Woodruff School in Lyme Regis initially tested positive for COVID-19, but one then had their result reversed following a lab error. Parents were sent letters informing them that 1 pupil from Year 8 and 1 from Year 11 had tested positive for the virus. However, it was later revealed that the Year 11 pupil actually tested negative and the result was mixed up due to a lab error. The Year 8 pupil's positive COVID result was correct, and those who had been in close contact with the student were asked to stay home and self-isolate for 2 weeks. Parents from St Michael's Primary School were also informed this week that a pupil had tested positive, but no further children have been asked to self-isolate as the affected child had been off school sick for 2 days, which is the incubation period as advised by the Department for Education. Former staff of the Lyme Regis-based View from newspapers have won a near 3-year fight for the money they were owed when the company closed down in 2018. Staff will receive notice pay settlements and additional payments awarded by an employment tribunal after Duncan Williams, the final owner of the group, was declared bankrupt. The money will be paid by the Insolvency Service after Plymouth County Court ruled against Mr Williams, meaning the government will now step in to pay at least a proportion of what the former staff are owed. The View from newspapers was originally set up in the early 2000s by Lyme Regis journalist Francesca Evans, now managing director of Lyme Regis Media Limited, which publishes LymeOnline. At its height, the company published free weekly newspapers in 14 towns across West Dorset, East Devon and South Somerset, including the popular View from Lyme Regis title. The business went through several ownership buyouts in its later years, eventually being bought by Peter Masters, proprietor of the Cornwall-based Sunday Independent, before its shock closure in January 2018, with 26 staff being made redundant. The company was then sold 12 days later for just £1 to Mr Williams, who was found liable for claims of staff awaiting pay in lieu of notice, redundancy money and arrears of pay. Residents and environmental campaigners have expressed concerns about damage caused to a line of protected oak trees in Lyme Regis. The trees are said to have been seriously compromised, with the damage reportedly caused by excavations on a housing development site currently under construction off Colway Lane. Nearby residents say a trench was dug to divert watercourses on the site and has subsequently damaged the roots of 6 mature trees, which are protected under the Tree Preservation Order. The issue is currently under investigation by Dorset Council's Tree Preservation Officer, but the council said it was unable to comment further until the investigation was complete. In a letter sent to Dorset Council and the Woodland Trust, Joe Smith-Oliver, chairman of environmental campaign group Turn Lyme Green, said members were shocked and appalled by the damage caused. Lyme Regis couple Ricky Austin and Paddy Howe are on the hunt for a piece of land where they can open a community garden and nursery. The couple say they are willing to put their life savings towards the project. They have already sold their home in Silver Street and need to find a suitable piece of land to make the community project a reality as soon as possible. The idea behind the community garden and nursery is to teach residents how to grow their own fruit and vegetables, provide locally grown produce to those in need completely free of charge, as well as creating a sustainable food source for the whole community. Along with the free homegrown produce, the garden and nursery could host classes and workshops to teach residents new skills, improving physical and mental health, and would also include a tool library from which residents could borrow items such as lawnmowers, which they may not otherwise be able to afford. Ricky and Paddy are expecting to complete their house sale by the end of January and need to find a piece of land at least an acre in size within a few miles of Lyme Regis for the project. To find out more, visit the Lyme Garden Growers page on Facebook. Lyme Regis will be among the South Coast harbours to pay tribute to two men recently lost from a Brixham fishing boat off the coast of Newhaven in Sussex. Adam Harper, aged 26 from Brixham, and Robert Morley, aged 38 from Pembrokeshire, were lost when their fishing boat sunk in late November. Across the South Coast, harbours will be switching off their Christmas lights this weekend and shining a light into the sky or sea for 2 minutes in memory of the fishermen. Lyme Regis will be among the harbours taking part, with the Christmas lights on the Cobb scheduled to be switched off on Saturday at 6:14 p.m, the time marking 12 hours after the boat's emergency beeper went off. The Lyme Regis fishing community and anyone else who wants to take part is invited to shine a light or light a candle on the Cobb. Those attending are asked to wear masks and remain socially distanced in their households or support bubbles. And now for local sport. Lyme Regis Football Club's reserve team have a new manager. One of the team's senior players, striker Shane Featherstone, has taken over the running of the team after Nick Tregow stood down due to work commitments. Shane, a former Millway Rise manager, has been with the Seasiders for 3 seasons and immediately offered his services, having taken the side on a number of occasions in the past. He will take charge of the reserves tomorrow when they return from lockdown with an away match against Tipton St John in the Devon and Exeter League Division 1 East. It won't be an easy baptism, however, as Tipton are currently 3rd in the league, having won 3 of their opening 5 games. The Seasiders' second string had a tough start to the season, winning just 1 of their 4 games. Nick's joint manager, Darren Stewart, another former Lyme player, has also stood down, but has sent the players an encouraging message, telling them to believe in themselves. Club chairman Howard Larkham has thanked both Nick and Darren for their services. There will be no game at the Davy Fort tomorrow afternoon, as the first team are on Dorset Senior Trophy Cup duty away to Wareham Rangers, and Lyme Rovers have a free afternoon. The Davy Fort Clubhouse will not open due to the new Tier 2 restrictions. Those keen to watch some local football can see Uplyme continue their excellent season in Perry Street Division 2 with a home match at Venn Lake against Charge United Reserves, kicking off at 2 p.m. And finally, the Marine Theatre in Lyme Regis will reopen doors this month for a number of socially distanced screenings. The theatre has remained largely closed since the first lockdown in March, but will be holding play and film screenings during December with limited capacity. Screenings will include the plays War Horse this weekend and All My Sons on December 10th, as well as 2 free screenings of the Christmas classic It's a Wonderful Life on December 18th and 19th, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's one-woman show Fleabag on New Year's Eve. For full details and tickets, visit the website shown on screen now. Don't forget you can stay up to date with all the latest local news throughout the week on the LymeOnline website. Have a great weekend.